I'm Gary. I'm Gary.
Tom.
Oh, that's right.
Paul.
And Gary, and apparently I'm starting.
Yeah.
My story is from the first time we went to Europe on tour. And this is just one I picked out. There was a number of them, but this one's pretty good. It was in 1985, like forever ago. And we were in Amsterdam and we played a show. And for some reason, our tour manager, who was cleaner than me, and I'm drug-free all my life, but this dude, you know, he's clean, and he's really just our friend that's pretending to be a tour manager. But anyway, after this show, for some reason, he decides he's going to try hash. And he did. He's freaking out in the office for a while, and then he just vaporizes. He just disappeared, and we looked all over the city for him. And I'm thinking, what am I going to tell his mom? Because we were kids, and we're looking up and down the streets, walking every which way, and you know, we finally made the executive decision we had to leave him because we had to get to the next town. So we pulled up in, I think the next place was Rotterdam, and he's sitting outside waiting for us. It turns out he found an open car and passed out in the back seat, and then got his own way to Rotterdam.
I was going to tell a different story, but you just reminded me of a story we were talking about the other day. We were in Japan, and it was the first time I'd been in Japan with Stan, and he was there when it happened. Carrie and I would go to Hard Rock Cafe there. When we arrived in there, they had a basketball hoop set up at the end of the inside of the building, and I guess Magic Johnson's All-Stars were there or something like that, and that was on the Divine Intervention tour. So prior to that album, Carrie and I roomed together in an apartment, and we'd play basketball all the time. So fast forwarding to the Hard Rock Cafe incident, well, Magic Johnson's All-Stars were there. So Carrie and I were having a drink, and one of the guys was getting ready to leave, and so everybody eggs him on to take a free throw. So this guy takes a free throw. He's one of the All-Stars, and it bounces off the rim, and it comes bouncing over to me and Carrie, and it lands at my feet. Carrie's like, "Man, take a shot, man, take a shot." So I'm like, "All right, man, I got this, you know." So I take a shot, and I always say this, but when I tell the stories, there's two different kind of shots. Mine is a high arch, you know. Carrie like throws a dart and it goes in. Well, so I set up my shot. I'm like, "I got this, man." So I launched the shot, and no sooner did I launch the shot, we were around a group of all these people, guys and ladies, whatever. All of a sudden, this thing hit the bar. It just crashed down like a satellite coming from outer space, and it like spilled drinks all over the place. Well, apparently, my free throw shot hit a surveillance camera that was on the ceiling, and it came barreling down. And I remember just standing there, just like not knowing what to do. And Carrie's, "Let's get out of here, man!" But yeah, I was embarrassed as hell. So that happened. I never made the free throw, by the way.
My best, I guess you'd call it family-friendly story involves my other band, Exodus, and my drummer, Tom Hunting. Because everybody in a band knows what being oil spotted is. That's when a bus, bus leaves and you're not on it. Most people, they find out pretty quickly they've been oil spotted, or you've oil spotted someone, and you turn around and go get them. We stop at a Roy Rogers truck stop in the morning, get off so people could use the bathroom, buy snacks, whatever. We get back on the bus, and our tour manager does his usual head count. He counts our drum tech, who's blonde, as is Tom Hunting, and then for some reason, still unknown to this day, Todd, his drum tech, goes and climbs in Tom's bunk. And so the tour manager just peeks in the curtain, sees a blonde head, and he says, "All right," counts him. And we drive to the next gig, 8 hours. And when we get there, of course, he had to use a payphone, called management, who called the venue and said Tom is at the truck stop. And by the time we were discussing putting him on a prop plane, like a crop duster, and Tom was afraid of flying, wasn't even having that. So basically, he sat at a Roy Rogers truck stop for, I think, like 16 hours with no money. Like, I think he even only had like slippers on because he went in to use the bathroom to drop a deuce. And he was fed by some strangers.
Drop a what?
Drop a deuce. And some strangers bought him some like Arby's out of the kindness of their heart. Biggest oil spotting I've ever heard of. I don't know anybody who's been left someplace longer than that. So that's one of my favorites.
Well, mine It deals with the very first time we toured. That was like in '84. We had crossed into Canada, and we were in Montreal. And this is a drinking one. It's a drinking story. We actually sat down at a bar, and it was a 2-for-1. And they were getting ready to close up, so we bought a shitload of beer. So we had all this beer on there, and we just pounding beers. And it was cold, it was snowing. So we make our way outside, and I got ill. I had a belly full of beer. So I just kind of walked out the front door and turned my head and melted all the snow in front of the door. And then we were walking back towards the hotel, and there was a parking lot full of cars. And I told everybody, hey, watch this. And I projectiled about a good 6-8 feet all over a car. And then Jeff was just laughing. He goes, do it over here. So I did it again on that one. That's how much liquid I had in my body. But that's my funny and gross tale.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.